President conveys profound gratitude to Saudi king and crown for their exemplary hospitality extended to pilgrims. President conveys Eid al-Adha greetings to leaders, governments and cities of Islamic nations. State leaders and political figures extends warm greetings to the people of the Maldives on the occasion of Eid al-Adha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSN News in English with me, Minha Maroof. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu conveys profound gratitude to the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, and the government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for their exemplary hospitality and outstanding services extended to pilgrims, Umrah visitors, and all those visiting the two holy mosques in Saudi Arabia. In a message shared in Arabic on his official X account, the President described the kingdom's generosity as a noble and ongoing act of devotion to Islam. He acknowledged that such unwavering commitment is hard to articulate completely. Additionally, he highlighted that the continuous efforts to serve pilgrims demonstrates a remarkable dedication that deserves the highest appreciation. The President also offered prayers for the generous people of Saudi Arabia, seeking blessings for their continued role in the service of Islam. He prayed for their long life, good health, and well-being of the King and the Crown Prince. Additionally, he prayed for the kingdom to be protected from those with ill intentions and for lasting peace, security, prosperity, and dignity for the nation and its people. The government of Saudi Arabia has consistently facilitated and supported Maldivian pilgrims. This year, travel procedures were notably streamlined, particularly through the Maldives' participation in the Makkah Route Initiative, which granted special authorizations. Furthermore, enhanced services were made available at accommodations designated for Maldivian pilgrims in full compliance with local regulations. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu conveys Eid al-Adha greetings to leaders, governments and citizens of Islamic nations, offering his best wishes on behalf of the Maldivian government and its people. Reflecting on the deep spiritual significance of the occasion, President Muizzu highlighted its role in fostering gratitude, unity and compassion within the global Muslim community. He expressed his hope that this sacred celebration would strengthen bonds among nations, reinforcing the values of solidarity and mutual respect. As millions of believers embark on the Hajj pilgrimage, the President extended prayers for their safety and the acceptance of their worship. He invoked blessings for a Mabrur Hajj, honoring their devotion and seeking divine reward for their sacred journey. In messages addressed to leaders across the Islamic world, President Muizzu offered prayers for their well-being and continued success. His sentiments extended to Muslim communities everywhere, wishing them prosperity, happiness, and the divine favor that fosters opportunity and progress. State leaders and political figures extend warm greetings to the people of the Maldives on the occasion of Eid al-Adha, including Vice President Hussein Mohammad Latif and several cabinet ministers. In a message shared on social media, Vice President Hussein Mohammad Latif conveyed heartfelt Eid greetings to Maldivian citizens. Cabinet ministers also expressed their best wishes to all Muslim brothers and sisters on the occasion of Eid al-Adha. The ministers highlighted the importance of Eid al-Adha as a time to revive the spirit of family, friendship and social unity as well as strengthen bonds within the community. The Speaker of the Parliament, Abdul Rahim Abdullah, also sent his greetings on the occasion of Eid al-Adha. He prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant continued peace and prosperity for all Muslims in the Maldives and around the world on this holy Eid. Former presidents including Mohammad Nasheed and Ibrahim Mohammad Saleh also shared Eid greetings through social media platforms. As leaders and politicians are sharing congratulations on the occasion of Eid, ordinary citizens have likewise taken to social media to share Eid greetings. Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Abdullah Khalil has said the incumbent administration's neutral foreign policy has delivered better relations with Maldives' bilateral and multilateral partners. In an exclusive interview with PSM News, Minister Dr. Khalil insisted that the essence of Maldives' current foreign policy, as enshrined in the constitution, is Maldives first, with the interests of the country and its people at the forefront. According to the minister, President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu's uncompromising red line to ensure Maldives' independence and sovereignty is clearly evident in recent efforts to build and strengthen ties with the international community. Minister said the country's international partners have respected the shift in Maldives' foreign policy to put its independence and sovereignty first, which has led to closer and better relations with both bilateral and multilateral partners. He added that the shift in Maldives' foreign policy is geared towards neutrality and equality regardless of size or power, which has directly led to closer relations with international partners. Despite the clear regional rivalry, Minister Dr. Khalil insisted that both India and China are significantly important development partners of the Maldives and reaffirmed the government's commitment to treating both nations equally. The Minister of Tourism and Environment, Tariq Ibrahim, says the government is on track to achieve the target of increasing revenue from tourism industry to $6 million by the year 2027. In an exclusive interview with PSM News, Minister Tariq pointed out that the primary objective of the 5th Tourism Master Plan is to increase tourism revenue to $6 billion. According to the minister, the government has already launched several initiatives to reach the target, including the strengthening of air and sea transport networks to ensure ease of transportation and access. These efforts, he said, will push the country closer towards the 2027 target, which will boost foreign exchange in the economy and accelerate the pace of development. He said, quote, "Then tourism will be expanded by increasing the number of tourists coming through Maldives' main gateway, the airport, and increasing the number of aircraft landing at the airport," end of quote. Highlighting the country's historic target of attracting 2.3 million tourists to its shores this year, the minister said Maldives will cross 1 million tourists by June 7th. Minister Tariq also urged locals to do everything possible to protect the environment, as 80% of tourists come to Maldives to see and enjoy its natural beauty. He also stressed on the importance of bringing about sustainable development without destroying its natural resources. The spat between US President Donald Trump and billionaire Elon Musk has exploded on June 5th with public condemnations and a price drop for Tesla stock. In characterizing the standoff, Wedbush Securities financial analyst Dane Ives said it was like a junior high school battle. Indeed, Trump threatened on June 5th to cut off government contracts with companies owned by billionaire Elon Musk as the alliance between the world's most powerful men and its richest erupted into a rancorous public fight. The feud, which exploded in a spectacular fashion over the course of a few hours, pushed shares of electric vehicle maker Tesla down dramatically. The company, where Musk serves as CEO, closed down 14.3% for the day and lost about $150 billion in value after Trump and Musk began their war of words.
It was a jaw dropper in terms of what we saw today, but no one thought that we'd be seeing Musk go so aggressively after Trump, and then Trump going so aggressively after Musk. stark contrast to what we've seen over the last few months between these two. The fears is that this could sort of spiral into something much worse between Musk and Trump.
Trump lashed out at Musk in comments in the Oval Office. For 2 days, the billionaire, who had been Trump's close advisor, campaigned to torpedo the sweeping tax cut and spending bill, the Republican president's top legislative priority, saying it would add too much to the nation's $36.2 trillion in debt. Trump told reporters in the Oval Office he was very disappointed in Musk. The president had held his tongue this week as Musk criticized his bill, an opinion also voiced by some Republicans in the closely divided U.S. Senate.
Look, we're bullish on Tesla. We see a $2 trillion market cap in the horizon, but this is definitely a Twilight Zone situation between Musk and Trump, and it's weighing on Tesla stock.
Besides electric vehicle maker Tesla, Musk's companies include rocket company and government contractor SpaceX and its satellite unit Starlink. The billionaire spent nearly $300 million in the 2024 election in support of Trump and other Republican candidates. Palestinians hold prayers in the ruins of a mosque in Gaza's Khan Yunis, marking the first day of Eid al-Adha. One woman at the mosque said that despite the ongoing war, people wanted to mark Eid. Mahmoud, who spoke to Reuters, said, quote, "As you can see, we are holding Eid prayers while the bombing, shelling and planes are ongoing. We just want to try to practice the rituals of Eid and pray. May God guide us. Some people are being displaced from an area to another. The war is still ongoing. The war has not stopped. May God guide us." End of quote. Baha al-Hawani said that the people of Gaza are marking Eid with the remains of their children, their fathers and mothers. She said every Palestinian house is wounded, every Palestinian house has a martyr, and all of the Gaza Strip is bleeding. She said, quote, "The world is watching. The world is happy. They are sacrificing for Eid al-Adha, and we are sacrificing ourselves." End of quote. The Israeli military has intensified its genocidal operations in Gaza since breaking a fragile ceasefire with Hamas in March, taking more territory with the government pushing to wipe out Hamas. Israel's genocide in Gaza has killed over 54,000 Palestinians and reduced much of the crowded coastal enclave to rubble. The European Commission spokesperson says the European Union strongly supports the International Criminal Court after U.S. President Donald Trump's administration imposed sanctions on 4 judges at the court. The statement came a day after Washington imposed sanctions on 4 judges at the ICC in unprecedented retaliation for the war tribunal's issuance of an arrest warrant for the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and a past decision to open a case into alleged war crimes by U.S. troops in Afghanistan. The order names Salome Balungi Bosa of Uganda, Luz del Carmen Ibanez Carranza of Peru, Rain Adelaide Sophie Alapini Gansu of Benin, and Betty Holler of Slovenia.
The Commission fully supports the International Criminal Court and its officials that this court holds perpetrators of the world's gravest crimes to account and gives victims a voice. It must be free to act without pressure. We will always stand for global justice and the respect of international law.
The ICC and some of its member states are urging the European Union to use its blocking statute, which bans any EU company from complying with US sanctions, to counter the sanctions. The new sanctions have been imposed at a difficult time for the ICC, which is already reeling from the earlier US sanctions against its chief prosecutor, Karim Khan, who last month stepped aside temporarily amid a United Nations investigation into alleged sexual misconduct.
On ICC, we have a clear position. It is the cornerstone of the international justice and the fight against impunity. We deeply regret the decision to impose sanctions on 4 additional individuals, and we will provide also the full support and contribution to ensure the protection of the court and its staff.
The International Criminal Court said in a written statement on Thursday, June 5th, that the sanctions were an attempt to undermine its independence. The third United Nations Ocean Conference, UNCO3, will be co-hosted by France and Costa Rica in the French city of Nice from June 9th to 13th with the aim of accelerating action on protecting the world's oceans. The conference will cover climate change, pollution, biodiversity, and making humanity's access to marine resources more sustainable. The oceans are not doing very well, UNESCO's head of marine policy, Julien Barbier, said, citing increasing temperatures, sea level rise, pollution of various kinds, and conflicts over fishing and mineral resources as main issues to be tackled during the conference.
What the conference will produce is actually a political declaration, which has been negotiated in the last 5 months at the UN, and which basically highlights a number of actions that member states, countries, but not only countries, it also applies to industry, to civil society, to philanthropic organizations to take action. And I think that's encouraging. I mean, certainly, as I said, this is not binding, but this is something we can refer to and where we can start building collaboration amongst the countries.
Barbier said the last few years have produced positive agreements and discussions on biodiversity and reducing pollution, but those need to be put into action and properly financed. He added that despite the problems, solutions do exist and the ocean has a great capacity to restore itself with the help of humans.
So the picture is not great, but I think there are solutions, and what we know is that the ocean has a great capacity to recover. If you give it a chance, if you protect areas, if you protect key ecosystems, if you reduce some of the stresses that we are putting out there on the ocean can recover and become healthy again.
Previous conferences were hosted in 2017 by Sweden and Fiji in New York, and in 2022 by Portugal and Kenya in Lisbon. In a town in central Bosnia, the country's first women's rugby team is breaking stereotypes and leading the way for a growing sport, with hopes for a national league and even Olympic success. Men's rugby has a 50-year-long tradition in Zenik, a town of around 70,000. Building on this, its Selik Osti club, a long-time winner of the rugby championships in the former Yugoslavia, established the women's team late last year. For Sarah Hadzik, a 25-year-old German language student who heard about rugby at university and decided it was a chance for something new and different. Hadzik says some people tell her the sport is not for girls, but that she wanted to be one of the girls who will break those prejudices and stereotypes. The team hopes to forge a national league for the sport, team coach Mirza Oruk says. But the team's aspirations don't stop there. Oruk wants the team to eventually compete at the European level and even qualify for the 2032 Olympic Games in Brisbane, Australia. Other women on the team got into the sport after bringing their children to practice and deciding to give it a go themselves. Brankika Sekerovic's son has been training with Selik for 6 years. For her, the Rugby Mums team means love, friendship, socializing and family. With grassroots enthusiasm, Bosnia's women's rugby movement is gaining momentum and aiming to make its mark on the international stage. Plastic does not biodegrade. Instead, it breaks down into smaller pieces and ultimately ends up everywhere, including in the food chain. Pieces that are less than 5 millimeters in length, around the size of a sesame seed, are called microplastics. Microscopic pieces of plastic have been discovered in the most remote locations, from the depths of the ocean to Arctic ice. Another place that plastic is appearing is inside our bodies. We are breathing microplastic, eating it, and drinking plastic-infused water every day. Dozens of reports have been published on microplastics, but the scientific community is still only scratching the surface of understanding just how much plastic we consume and how harmful it could be.
microplastics and chemicals has adverse effect on brain health and like infant physiology and some illness and diseases related with some reproduction system, and also has connection with some other health issues like tumors, the cancers, endocrine disruption, and also some inflammatory effects.
People could be ingesting the equivalent of a credit card of plastic a week. A study by WWF International concluded, mainly in drinking water, but also via sources like shellfish, which tend to be eaten whole, so the plastic in their digestive systems is also consumed.
We have to reconsider our plastic relationship. So we have currently ongoing negotiations on plastic treaty. So the only way for effective plastic treaty to include ban on plastic production. I mean, not the whole plastic production. I'm talking about at least 40%.
Scientists worldwide are racing to develop innovative solutions to the growing plastic waste crisis, an effort championed by awareness campaigns such as World Environment Day taking place on June 5th. Plastic pollution is set to triple by 2040, the UN Environment Programme has predicted, adding 23 to 37 million metric tons of waste into the world's oceans each year. And that's all we have for now. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a pleasant day ahead.